Your closet is quietly destroying your clothes right now, and you have no idea. That shirt losing its shape, that sweater with bumps on the shoulders, that faded jacket, none of it is bad luck or cheap fabric. It's a handful of everyday habits almost every American has that slowly wreck good clothes. In Japan, many people are more deliberate about storing and caring for clothing, and their garments stay sharp for years. Not because they buy better, but because they avoid mistakes most of us make without thinking. Here are the 11, and what the Japanese do instead. Stay till Rule 6 because it's the one nobody sees coming, and it's probably happening in your closet tonight. Rule 1, and it's the one that makes people wince when they realize it. Those thin plastic bags from the dry cleaner, the ones you leave your nice clothes wrapped in, thinking you're protecting them, they're doing the opposite. That plastic is designed for one thing: getting your clothes home from the shop. It was never meant for storage, just for the walk from the counter to your car. Sealed inside for weeks or months, moisture and odors get trapped around the fabric. Over time, that trapped humidity yellows white shirts, weakens fibers, and can even leave a permanent musty smell. The goal is airflow, not airtight storage. And rather than protecting the garment, the plastic traps humidity and odors against it instead of letting it air out. In Japan, the plastic comes off the moment the clothes come through the door. If something needs covering for the long term, it goes in a breathable cloth garment bag, the kind that lets air move through while keeping dust off. Cloth, never plastic. And if a piece didn't come with a cloth bag, an old cotton pillowcase with a hole cut for the hanger hook does the job for nothing. The whole point is airflow. Air moving gently around the fabric keeps moisture from settling, and that's what stops the yellowing and the musty smell before they ever start. That single swap saves more good clothes than almost anything else on this list. And what you hang those clothes on matters just as much. Rule 2. Look in your closet right now and count the wire hangers. Those flimsy wire hangers can slowly distort whatever hangs on them. Those flimsy wire triangles from the dry cleaner have almost no surface area, so all the weight of the garment pulls down on two thin points at the shoulders. Over time, that creates those little bumps, the stretched-out dimples at the top of the shoulder that never quite go away. On heavier items, they let the whole garment sag out of shape, and if they're old, they rust. And that rust transfers onto your clothes as brown stains you can't remove. The better habit treats hangers as part of caring for the garment, not an afterthought. Wooden or padded hangers that actually follow the shape of the shoulder, so the weight is supported across a wide curve instead of two sharp points. For delicate blouses and knitwear, padded or velvet hangers are even better, because the soft, slightly grippy surface holds the garment without digging in or letting it slide off into a heap at the bottom of the closet. It's such a small change, and it's the difference between a shirt that keeps its shape for years and one that's deformed in months. Now, the next mistake is one people make constantly, and it invites something into your closet you really don't want. Rule 3, and this one genuinely surprises people. You take off a shirt after wearing it all day. It looks clean, it doesn't smell, so you hang it straight back into the closet. That's not always a good idea. Even a garment that looks perfectly clean carries invisible traces from your body. Skin oils, sweat, a little deodorant, maybe a trace of perfume or food. You can't see any of it, but moths and other fabric pests can, and those invisible residues are exactly what draws them in. They're the reason moths find your wool sweater and not the empty hanger next to it. On top of that, those oils slowly oxidize and set into stains that appear months later, seemingly out of nowhere, on a shirt you swore was clean. The better habit is to let a worn garment air out before putting it away, and to wash it when it actually needs washing, not on a rigid schedule. Overwashing wears clothes out just as surely as neglect. Where it really matters is seasonal storage. The winter coats going away in spring, the summer linens in autumn. Those should be genuinely clean before they go into a box for 6 months. Store them dirty, and you open the box next year to stains that have set permanently and moth damage that's already done. For seasonal storage, clean first, store second, always in that order. Stay with me, because Rule 6 is the one that quietly does the most damage of all, and almost nobody thinks about it. Quick thing before we keep going. This whole idea, keeping what you own in good shape instead of replacing it, is the philosophy behind a book I put together called The Naoshi Method. It takes the same approach across your whole home, from your clothes to your kitchen to your furniture. Scan the code on screen or tap the link in the description if that speaks to you. Now, back to your closet and the clothes you're hanging that should never be hung at all. Rule 4. Some of your clothes are being stretched out of shape every single day just by hanging there, and the worst part is, you chose to hang them thinking that was the careful thing to do. Heavy knits and sweaters are the main victims. When you hang a chunky sweater, gravity pulls the whole weight of the fabric down, and the knit slowly stretches. The shoulders develop those pointed bumps, and the neckline widens. Once a knit stretches like that, it rarely goes back. The fix is to fold heavy knits and sweaters and rest them on a shelf or in a drawer, never on a hanger. If you're short on shelf space, there's a folding trick. Fold the sweater in half and drape it over the bar of the hanger so the weight is balanced instead of hanging from the shoulders. There's a simple test. Hold the garment up by the shoulders. If it visibly droops and pulls under its own weight, it wants to be folded. If it holds its shape, like a structured shirt or a blazer, it can hang. Soft, heavy knits get folded, structured pieces get hung. Knowing which is half the battle. And speaking of things you can't see, the next one is invisible and silent, and it's ruining clothes and closets across the country. Rule 5. There's an enemy in your closet you can't see, and it's the air itself, or rather, what's in it: humidity. A closet is often the most closed-off, least ventilated space in the house, and when moisture builds up in that still air, it goes to work on your clothes. Damp air breeds mildew, which stains fabric and leaves that unmistakable musty smell. It yellows whites, it weakens natural fibers, and in a dark, sealed closet, it can go on for months before you notice. In Japanese homes, keeping stored belongings dry and well ventilated is often treated as part of good household care, and the fix is cheap. For drawers, storage boxes, and other small enclosed spaces, those little silica gel packets that come in packaging can help control localized moisture. But for an actually humid closet, they won't do much on their own. Ventilation or a proper dehumidifier matters far more. Keep the closet somewhere cool, let it air out now and then, and don't cram it so full that no air moves at all. Basements and exterior wall closets are the usual trouble spots because they run cooler and damper than the rest of the house. If yours is one of those, the silica packets and the occasional open door matter even more. A dry closet is a closet that keeps your clothes alive. And now, Rule 6, the one I promised, the quiet destroyer. Rule 6, moths. I know, it sounds almost old-fashioned, the kind of thing you'd expect your grandmother to worry about. But clothes moths are very real, very much still around, and they are silently eating holes in wool, cashmere, and other natural fibers in closets everywhere, right now, tonight. Here's what makes them the quiet destroyer. You never see the moth doing the damage. It's the tiny larva, hidden in the folds of a folded sweater or the dark back corner of the closet, that chew through the fibers. By the time you see a hole, they've already been feasting for weeks. And they love exactly the things you care about most: the natural fibers, the wool and cashmere and silk, while ignoring the synthetics. It's a cruel joke. The moths go straight for your best sweater and leave the cheap polyester untouched. That's why the people who lose a beloved coat to moths are so often the ones who invested in good natural fabrics in the first place. Most people don't think about moths until they pull out a favorite sweater in autumn and find it full of holes. The Japanese approach is prevention, not panic, and it's natural. Cedar blocks and lavender sachets tucked into the closet and drawers can help discourage moths, without the harsh chemical mothballs whose smell clings to everything. Cedar needs a light sanding once in a while to refresh its scent, because it works by releasing an aroma that pests avoid, and that fades over months. Lavender does a similar job with a smell people happen to like, but they work best alongside clean, dry storage and the occasional check on your wool, not as a guarantee on their own. Keep the wool clean, keep cedar or lavender nearby, and check on your knits now and then, and moths are far less likely to settle in. That's Rule 6. Protect the fibers you can't afford to lose. And once you've dealt with the pests, There's a force coming through your window that's bleaching your clothes a little more every day. Rule 7. Sunlight. That closet or corner where the sun comes through and lands on your clothes might feel pleasant, but for fabric, direct sunlight is a slow bleach. The UV light breaks down dyes, and over weeks and months it fades color unevenly, so a deep navy goes patchy and dull, a rich black turns a tired gray, especially along the folds and shoulders where the light hits. It even weakens the fibers themselves over time. The smarter move is to store clothes away from direct light, in a closet or drawer where the sun never reaches them. If your clothes hang anywhere near a window, that's a problem worth solving. Fabric has a long memory for sunlight, and it never gives the color back. This is why boutiques keep their lighting low and never leave stock in a sunny window. They know a single sun-faded shoulder makes a garment unsellable. Your closet should follow the same logic. Keep clothes out of direct sunlight, while still giving the space enough ventilation to stay dry. Dark and airy, not dark and sealed. Which brings us to something you're almost certainly doing if your closet is anything like most: overstuffing it. Rule 8. An overcrowded closet is a closet that damages clothes, and most of us cram far too much into far too little space. When garments are jammed together with no room between them, two things happen. They wrinkle, permanently, pressed into creases by the constant crush of fabric on fabric, and the air can't circulate, which brings back every humidity and mildew problem we already talked about. Clothes packed tight also snag and pull against each other's buttons and zippers. The principle here is space and breathing room. Each garment with a little air around it, so nothing is crushed and air can move freely through the closet. This is partly why the Japanese are famous for owning less and choosing well, not as some minimalist aesthetic, but because a closet with room in it is a closet that keeps its clothes in good shape. If your closet is bursting, your clothes are paying the price. A good rule of thumb: you should be able to slide a garment out and back without fighting the ones on either side. If everything comes out in a clump, it's too full, and every piece in there is being wrinkled and crushed by its neighbors. And when you do fold clothes away, the way you fold them makes all the difference. Rule 9. Most people fold clothes in a flat stack, one on top of another, and it quietly wrecks them. In a stack, the clothes at the bottom get crushed under the weight of everything above, pressed into deep creases, while the ones you can't see get forgotten entirely. The solution is one you may have heard of, and it does have Japanese roots: vertical folding or file folding. Instead of stacking flat, each item is folded into a small, firm rectangle and stood on its edge, upright, like files in a drawer or books on a shelf. Nothing is crushed under anything else. Every item gets even, gentle pressure. And as a bonus, you can see everything at a glance instead of digging through a pile. It keeps clothes crisp, prevents the deep, set-in creases that stacking causes, and makes the whole drawer easier to live with. It sounds fussy until you try it, and then you wonder how you lived any other way. It works because each folded rectangle supports itself, standing on its own edge, so nothing bears the weight of anything else. And because you can see every item at once, you actually wear the clothes at the back instead of forgetting they exist, which is its own quiet way of making a wardrobe last. There's a knack to the fold itself. The goal is a firm, even rectangle roughly the height of your drawer, so each piece stands up on its own without flopping over. T-shirts, knits, jeans, even towels all take to it. Once a drawer is set up this way, putting laundry away is faster too, since everything has an obvious place to slot back into. Now, 2 more rules, and they're about the clothes hardest to store well. Rule 10. Pants and trousers are folded wrong by almost everyone, and it leaves a mark, literally. Fold a pair of dress pants over a regular straight hanger bar, and you get a hard, horizontal crease right across the knees, the kind that needs ironing out every time. Worse, draped loosely, they tend to slip off and end up crumpled on the closet floor. A better approach uses the garment's own weight. For dress trousers, use clip hangers at the waistband or the hems and let them hang straight down. Gravity does the rest, pulling the wrinkles out and preserving the crease. No horizontal crease, no ironing, no puddle of fabric on the floor. It's a small switch that means your pants are ready to wear straight off the rack. For jeans and casual trousers, it matters less, but for anything with a crease you want to keep, or a fabric that wrinkles, clipping by the waistband is what keeps them sharp between wears. And the last rule is the one that keeps your best, most structured pieces looking sharp for years. Rule 11. Your blazers, suit jackets, and structured coats are probably losing their shape on the wrong hanger, and these are usually the most expensive things you own. A tailored jacket holds its crisp silhouette through internal construction and shoulder shaping, and that structure needs proper support underneath it. Hang a blazer on a thin wire or flimsy plastic hanger, and the shoulders slowly droop, the fabric puckers, and that sharp, tailored line goes soft and sad. The care here is specific. Thick, contoured wooden hangers, shaped like human shoulders, wide enough to fill and support the jacket's own shoulders so the structure stays exactly as the tailor built it. And give them room to breathe. One jacket per hanger, a little space on each side, never squeezed between two coats. For your best pieces, the right hanger isn't a luxury. It's what keeps a $200 jacket from looking like a $30 one after a year. Think of it as insurance on the most expensive things in your closet. A good wooden hanger costs a couple of dollars and lasts a lifetime. A ruined blazer costs a couple hundred to replace. The math makes itself. So look back over all 11, and you'll see they share one idea. None of this is about buying expensive gear or spending your weekend on your closet. It's about not doing the small, thoughtless things that quietly wreck good clothes. The wire hangers, the plastic bags, the overstuffing, the sunny spot, the sweater on a hook. None of these 11 cost real money. There's no gadget to buy, no system to install. Just a handful of small habits that replace the careless ones. The right hangers instead of wire, cloth instead of plastic, clean clothes before storing, a little room between pieces. The Japanese don't keep their clothes for decades because they own something special. They keep them because they've learned to avoid many of the small habits that quietly wear clothes out. The clothes you already own were built to last far longer than you're currently letting them, sometimes 2 or 3 times longer. Because in Japan, clothing isn't something you wear until it looks worn and then replace. It's something you keep from wearing out, for as long as you choose to own it. That's the whole difference, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. If keeping what you own instead of constantly replacing it is your kind of thing, that's exactly what this channel is here for, so you know where to find the next one.